Sorry. They're here. Oh. Okay, we will call to order. Are we ready? Oh, sorry. Yeah, whoops.
We're on the clock's ahead. It's really only 6:03. Good.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call to order the March 11th, 2026 Perinton Town Board meeting. First of all, we'll say our Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll be led by Miss Sarah Masterson.
It stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll start with introductions. My name's Jen Townsend. I'm your town supervisor. And my fellow board members here, we have Councilman Dave Masterson, Councilwoman Emily Mishler, Councilman Michael Folino, Councilwoman Meredith Stockman Broadbent, and our town clerk, Andrew Gilchrist. And the staff who are participating here tonight, we have our executive assistant to the supervisor, Melissa Martins, down in the end. We have, who is down there? Our town assessor, Wayne Pickering, our Commissioner of Recreation and Parks, Jeff Nutting, our Volunteer Board Coordinator, Chris Mueller, Director of Finance, Brian Dick, our Commissioner of Public Works, Jason Kennedy, and our Town Attorney, Joe LaFay. Before we begin, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see. And I just want to note to the board members, there's going to be a slight change in how we proceed through agenda items going forward. After I introduce each agenda item, I'm going to open up for board discussion and questions. And then after discussion, I'll ask for a motion. So then we'll do motion second vote rather than motion second discussion vote. I feel like this feels more natural for me, so I'm going to give it a try. So bear with me. Of course, if you ever feel the need for more discussion after a motion, just jump in. Obviously, we can do that too. However, for our more routine items like approving meeting minutes, the audit, and the monthly reports, I will say if there's no changes or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve. At this point, if you have a question or you want to discuss it, jump in and discuss it. Otherwise, I'll go motion second, vote, carry. And I won't open for discussion, but if this feels too cumbersome or too quick, just let me know. Those tend to be routine items, and you always know you can just jump in and interrupt me if you want to chat.
You. Never mind.
Sure. We can review it if it doesn't work. We can go back over. So also, a note, our town board meetings are recorded and may be transcribed utilizing artificial intelligence technology. They will also be on YouTube if you want to watch them later. Okay, moving on. Everybody ready? Okay. So our meeting minutes, you should have received the minutes from our February 25th town board meeting. If there are no changes or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as submitted.
We'll move.
All right, a second. I think maybe Emily, you were there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Our audit, you should have received the audit from the Director of Finance. Has the Finance Committee had a chance to review the audit?
I have reviewed the bills and the audit and authorized the board to
Recommend that we approve?
approve that.
Okay, any discussion? Nope. Okay, can I have a motion to approve? Councilman Masterson, Councilwoman Stockman Broadman, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that carries. The monthly reports have been provided to the town board and posted on the town's website for review. In these reports, if there's any discussion for any of them, we can have them now. But in addition, in this report, Assessor Pickering has provided us with an update on the townwide revaluation. At this point, Assessor Pickering, I'll let you walk through your update with us.
Okay, good evening. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold, so I feel like I'm talking into a tunnel with my ears plugged. So if you have any questions, please speak up because I'm an old man tonight. So, wrong report. So I start out with a letter saying that the assessment change notices should be in the mail by today. They are not. They are still at the printers being stuffed and folded and stuffed. So I'm hoping that they'll be mailed out on Friday. There was a delay in mailing them because I found a tax calculation error in the generation of the tax estimates that were first done by the state. So the state had to rerun them, and then there was also the delay at the printers. In-person informal assessment reviews will begin March 23rd at 9:30 a.m. and will continue into the second or third week of April if needed. The owners must schedule an appointment for those informal reviews by Friday, March 27th. So some statistics from the preliminary values that'll be going out. The town-wide total assessment increased by 87.3%. The taxable assessed value increased by 90.1%. The village median residential assessment increased from 183,900 up to 378,000. And the town outside the village median residential assessment increased from 206,500 up to 410. As you can see at the bottom of the report, in calculating using the new assessments to collect the town budget that was collected in January of 26, the town tax rates would be cut in half, or just about in half, not quite in half. On page 2, I broke down the increase in the total assessed value between residential and the commercial properties. Residential properties increased by 92.9%, but the commercial properties, commercial and industrial, increased by only 68%. I did expect a slight tax shift from the commercial properties onto the residential properties because the residential properties will appreciate faster than the commercial properties. But with working with the finance office, we estimate that the shift is only about 1.26% of the total town budget, which is about $137,000. So spread across the residential parcels, that only averages out to about $8 in additional taxes per parcel. So the shift wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So hopefully the assessment change notices will be mailed out Friday, and we will start the informal reviews here Monday on the
Wayne?
23rd.
Your pen is right next to the microphone. It's all right. I was trying.
I'm not nervous.
Click it. Yeah. Believe me, as a fellow pen clicker, yes. Thank you.
So you want me to repeat that?
No.
Oh,
You were given a good test of focus. I appreciate that.
that's it.
You.
Yeah.
That was a great update.
I have one quick question. When will they be available online and how do you find them?
Well, actually, they are available right now online. I did post
Okay.
the street sequence of all the parcels in town. Like I say, it's in street order, and it does have the proposed assessment of preliminary assessments listed on there. It doesn't have the estimated taxes before and after that your assessment change notice will have on it, but it does give the gross amount. So just go to the assessment page, reval, main assessment town page. In the banner, there's a reval button you can click on. And that page or one of those pages in there should have the sales and the street sequence.
Thank you.
And any of the reports from the last few weeks. If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the reports as presented. Yeah. Meredith. Second, Emily, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Next, I'll announce the end of a permissive referendum for last month's budget transfers. And then after this, we have a request from the Recreation and Parks Department regarding a personnel transfer. The Parks Department currently has an opening for a full-time laborer. This is an important role that supports daily operations, assists our ground equipment operators, and supervises seasonal crews during the spring and summer months. The laborers are a key part of maintaining the quality of our parks and facilities. Before this position was even posted, Jacob Byron, who is currently a laborer in the Department of Public Works, reached out to express his interest. After discussions between Jacob and Parks Director Chris Dudley, who followed up conversations between Recreation and Parks and DPW leadership, both departments agreed that Jacob would be an excellent fit for this role. Jacob has been with the Highway Department for 4 years and has done an outstanding job. His background also includes work in landscaping, including both hard and soft landscape installation. Those skills translate well to the responsibilities of the park laborer position. The recommendation is to transfer Jacob to the Parks Department effective April 6, 2026. His current pay rate would remain the same, and he would move forward on the parks labor step scale. This position and the associated rate are fully supported by the 2026 budget. Commissioner Kennedy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, Madam, no, Jen.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's throwing me off my game here. No, I would only add, as was stated, that Jake's a great employee and glad he's staying in the Perinton family.
That's
So
awesome.
we wish him well, and Park's got a good one.
Great. Anything, Commissioner? They're not anyone
Just
to
wanna,
add?
recognize and thank Public Works, Commissioner Kennedy, David Van Thuff, Highway Deputy Commissioner, for supporting us and talking through this. And, I think we're really comfortable and confident that we're getting a great employee, as Jason said, in Jacob, and appreciate the support, for Jacob and for the Parks Department as a whole.
Great. Any board questions or comments? None. Okay, so if there's no future discussion, I'll ask for a motion to authorize the transfer of Jacob Byron to the Parks Labor. All right, Dave, can I get a second? Emily, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Okay, next on the agenda is a request from the Department of Public Works to appoint several individuals to labor positions in the highway and sewer departments. The department recently completed a hiring process for open labor positions. Human Resources posted the positions in January, and an internal interview committee reviewed and interviewed candidates. Based on that process, the department is recommending 4 individuals for appointment. Specifically, the request before us is to appoint Jason, I'm going to try these names and hopefully get them right, Jason Dykstra, Andrew Gropp, and Peter
Kachurk,
Kachurk.
who graduated with Chase.
Oh, great. Okay, Peter Kachurk to laborer positions with the Highway Department, and Jonathan Haggerty to a laborer position with the Sewer Department. The proposed compensation and advancement schedule for these petitions is detailed in the accompanying memorandum from the Commissioner of Public Works, and vacation benefits would follow the town's standard eligibility schedule. Commissioner Kennedy, do you have anything to add?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Okay, great.
I can speak that Andrew Gropp and Peter Kachurk are very nice young gentlemen. They both graduated with Chase, so.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that young people that went to school in Fairport, graduated, are now coming to work for the town. Any other board comments or questions? All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll ask for a motion that the town board appoint Jason, Andrew, and Peter to laborer positions with the Highway Department, and Jonathan to a laborer position with the Sewer Department, to be compensated as outlined in the accompanying memorandum from the Commissioner of Public Works, with the vacation benefits in accordance with the town's standard policies. I have a motion, Meredith and Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That carries. Next on the agenda is a request from our Recreation and Parks Department regarding the annual purchase of fitness equipment. Each year, the department replaces aging equipment and makes updates based on how often equipment is used and what new technology is available. This follows a 10-year purchasing plan, but also includes an annual review of actual equipment condition and usage patterns. In addition to equipment in the cardio and weight room areas, the department also purchases supplies for aerobic and fitness classes. With the availability of Monroe County ARPA funds for the youth and senior programming, the department is recommending an expanded purchase of class supplies so that we can continue improving the experience for these programs. The memo that everyone has received outlines all recommended purchases, but I'll highlight a few key items. A new Precor adaptive motion trainer, which replaces a 2012 model. An elliptical replacing a 2006 ARC trainer that's apparently very rarely used. An LED stepper, which would be the first stepper in our facility. 2 matrix rowers, replacing the heavily used rowers that are from 2008. And a range of dumbbells, kettlebells, balance trainers, aerobic steppers, yoga mats, and other program supplies, many of which would be funded through the ARPA funds. As the memo notes, the total cost of equipment for these fitness areas is $23,983.74. Our 2026 budget includes $23,500 for this purpose, and the department recommends using anticipated surplus in the parks equipment line to cover the small difference. The total cost of class supplies is $10,981.80, which would be funded through ARPA and reimbursed to the Recreation and Parks operating budget. The budget amendments associated with this purchase would be fitness equipment through an increased recreation equipment by $500 and decreased parks equipment by $500. And for the fitness supplies, increased recreation program by $10,981.80 and increased federal aid by the ARPA funds by $10,981.80. To move forward, the department is requesting that the board authorize 3 items, all of which were provided to the board members and made available to the public in advance in the memo from the Commissioner of Recreation and Parks dated March 4th. These 3 actions are to approve the purchase of the equipment and supplies as outlined, to declare the existing equipment listed in the memo as surplus so it can be auctioned or scrapped as appropriate, and to approve the associated budget amendments, including adjustments between recreation and parks equipment lines and ARPA reimbursements. Before opening this up for discussion, I'd like to put all of this into one motion. So please ask questions or discuss all 3 of the actions before us. If you want to go ahead, thank you. Any questions or comments? And Commissioner Nutting, if you want to add in, please jump in. Okay.
I just started going to the rec center in the morning to work out and using their equipment. It's great. And what a nice opportunity. This equipment has lasted so long. I'm sure that the new equipment, you'll have a long lifespan too, but there are a lot of people there. I think it's a really good resource for people in the community.
All right.
Is it your idea to get the stepper?
No, but
Oh,
I'm going to
good.
use it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. I'll work on
Be
it.
the first one on it.
Yep. All right. If there's no further discussion, I'll ask for a motion to approve these purchases, the surplus declarations, and the budget amendments as presented. Emily. Motion second. Meredith, all in favor? Aye, and that carries. All right, next on the agenda is a request from the Recreation and Parks Department, another one regarding the recreation programming software. This is something the department relies on for the core of its day-to-day operations, including program registration, facility reservations, pass management, point-of-sale transactions, and online payments. It is also one of the primary ways our residents interact with the town, so usability is especially important. And if anybody has tried to sign their kids up for events, you probably understand the pros and cons of the current software that we have. The department has been using the same system, a RecTrack WebTrack system through Vermont Systems for over 25 years. While it has generally met their needs, staff have experienced increasing challenges with customer service, system complexity, and resident frustration with the online registration platform. Additionally, the current system is hosted on premises, and the vendor has indicated that all clients will eventually be required to move to a cloud-hosted model, effectively doubling the annual software cost. With that in mind, Commissioner Nutting undertook a comprehensive review of alternatives beginning in early 2025. He put together an internal committee that evaluated several options, conducted multiple demos, and spoke with peer municipalities, and ultimately determined that ActiveNet would be the best long-term fit for our needs. ActiveNet includes all of the functionalities we currently rely on, while also offering improved online registration, mobile applications for both users and staff, and enhanced tools for high-volume programs like summer camps and after-school care. Feedback from existing ActiveNet clients, including organizations both larger and smaller than Perinton, has been very positive, particularly related to the ease of use and reliability. Financially, this change makes sense. While there are upfront costs for implementation and new hardware, the annual service fee is locked in for 5 years and is actually lower than what we would pay if we kept our existing vendor and they moved to a cloud-hosted model. And that gap would probably grow over time. What's being requested tonight is authorization to enter into a professional services contract with ActiveNet, along with approval of the associated budget amendments to cover the one-time implementation cost of $21,193 and the hardware cost of $2,939.50. The annual service fee of $19,678 would be incorporated into future operating budgets and is approximately $1,500 less than the Vermont system would be once they move to a cloud-hosted model. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Nutting if you have anything to add for that before we go to board questions.
Thank you, Ms. Supervisor. I just want to hit home to the amount of thought that went into this from our rec team. We had multiple staff members of different levels, part-time, full-time, clerks, programmers, IT support with Matt Christensen. This is not a decision that was taken lightly. Vermont Systems, RecTrack, WebTrack, as the supervisor mentioned, does fit our needs, but it is incredibly complex. And the cost change is really what led us to look into other options. So we're very, very confident that ActiveNet is going to be the right solution, that our customers are going to see a much better experience, which was one of the leading factors in this. And looking forward to this transition, which would start this fall, and we would go live late 2026 or early 2027. Thank you.
Okay, board, any discussion? Sorry, so I'm choking over here.
I just really appreciate the thorough review that went into this. I think without that, we could really end up with a system that wouldn't provide all of the things that we would need it to provide. So I really appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Same.
It's going to be a lot better.
Yes,
It's gonna be
the
a
parents
process,
were very
but it's gonna be a lot
excited.
better. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of community feedback on signing their kids up, especially when summer camp opens. So if there is no further discussion, I move that the town board authorize the supervisor to enter into a professional services contract with Active Network LLC for recreation and parks programming software, including implementation and associated hardware, and further authorize the following budget amendments as presented. Increase IT contractual recreation and parks by 10,000, increase interfund transfers by 10,000, increase transfer to other funds by 10,000, which will be subject to a 30-day permissive referendum. Can I have a motion? Meredith? Second, Emily, all in favor? Aye, that carries.
It's exciting.
Sorry.
25 years, it's time.
Right. For software, that's a long
It's a really
time.
long time. We had a good
Now,
run.
there have been improvements in the software in the last 25 years.
I would say that's a good run, though.
Yes.
Right. Okay, next up, we have a request from the Recreation and Parks Department to accept scholarship funds from the Friends of Perinton Recreation and Parks. As the board knows, The Recreation and Parks Department offers program scholarships to help ensure that all residents have access to recreation programs regardless of income. Demand for these scholarships continues to grow, and the department relies on outside support to help fund them. The Friends of Perinton Recreation and Parks, working through the Fairport Foundation, have been a long-standing partner in this effort. Throughout 2025, they provided nearly $5,000 to the town, with the majority dedicated specifically to recreation program scholarships. For 2026, the Friends have offered an initial contribution of $1,000 with the expectation of additional fundraising and periodic contributions throughout the year as needed and funds allow. These scholarships are carefully tracked by Recreation and Park staff, and summary reporting can be provided as needed. What is being requested tonight is approval for the town to accept the initial $1,000 donation from the Fairport Foundation and Friends of Perinton Parks and Rec and Parks for recreation program scholarships, and authorization to accept any additional scholarship funds received from the Friends during 2026 without requiring further board action. This is pretty awesome. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Nutting to add to that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for everything the Friends of Perinton Recreation and Park are doing, particularly their president, Nate Romanola. This group started a few years ago and really was started with the mission of developing and building these funds for program scholarships. And the increase of their fundraising has just been incredible. Nate comes to every one of our Rec and Parks advisory boards meetings, so he understands what the other needs are outside of program scholarships. They're meeting on a regular basis, and the volunteers in that are really great. So really looking forward to accepting this initial offering for 2026, but also more importantly, the continued growth and success and partnership we'll have with this organization. And I'd love to provide Nate the opportunity to share a few words as
I
well.
would love that. Nate, do you mind coming up? Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as Commissioner Nutting said, my name is Nate Romanola. I'm the president of the Friends of Perinton Recreation and Parks. We're thrilled to continue this support of a program that really does make all of the programming through our Recs and Park Department accessible to everybody in our community. We are really hopeful that on top of this donation, that moving forward on a quarterly basis, we'll be able to increase that. And the hope right now is that we will increase that by $500 a quarter. So we'll make up for the extra $500 in the second quarter and so on and so forth. So ultimately, I want to thank Supervisor Townsend, the town board, Commissioner Nutting, and the Parks and Rec Department for all of your support and partnership. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Oh, thank you.
Just a 30-second history, the legal status, and exactly what Friends of Perinton Recs and Park does.
Sure.
Please.
So as the supervisor said, the Friends of Perinton Recreation and Parks sits under the umbrella of the Fairport Foundation, which is the 501c3 that is able to accept in-kind donations. Our mission is right now is to raise funds for those program scholarships and hopefully be able to expand over time as funds allow to help with other programming, possibly accessible equipment. However, those funds seem to make sense at that time. We've been in existence for a little over a year. We have 7 board members, and as Commissioner Nutting said, we meet monthly. And I think we've got a really good group that's really excited about where this could go.
So just to clarify, the $1,000 donation, that donation is actually coming from the Fairport Foundation.
That's correct.
And
yeah.
but they're housing it, but they're also housing that money.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
All of the money that we raise is through the Fairport Foundation
Okay. And
as the
but
501c3.
this particular donation is actually from the,
Yeah.
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 the
So,
foundation.
yeah. So all of the money that comes through the town to the Parks and Rec Department comes from the Friends of Perinton Rec and Parks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Specifically for the scholarships.
Do you know about how many people have benefited from?
Jeff knows that. I have
In
general.
2025, the town provided roughly $12,000 worth of program scholarships. Of that, 4,000 was paid for through the Friends, and the other 8,000 was paid for through the Parent and Pride Fund. The Friends have a goal to continue to increase that, so we don't rely as much on the Parent and Pride Fund. I think, Emily, you asked how many people. I think that $12,000 benefited roughly 30 families. That number might be off plus or minus 5, but in that general neighborhood.
And there's an application online to apply for.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah. And our ultimate goal is to replace that entire Fairport Pride line item so that it's not something that comes from the town. It comes straight from us.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead, Jen, please.
No, please.
I
Really?
always go last.
I know. You want to go last? Okay, okay. I have two quick questions. One, what type of programming does it tend to cover? Is it like a summer camp for folks?
We see a lot of use in summer camp and after school programs. Swim lessons are a pretty hot commodity as well. But it also pays for fitness passes for families that might not otherwise be able to afford it.
I think that's really great because there's a lot of families who need summer camp and after school care because they're working and can't afford childcare. That's a huge, it's not just programming, it's childcare assistance, which is really pretty fantastic. One more question. If people are interested in donating, how would they do so?
Yeah, so right now, online, if you go to Fairport Foundation, there's a tab there that goes to our donation page. So there's a QR code there or a PayPal that you can donate there. Otherwise, you can contact me for information.
Awesome. Dave, you want to close it up?
So you kind of summed up, what are the fundraising events that you have? Obviously, you just talked about donations online, but do you actually have events?
So we don't have our own events quite yet. What we have done so far to get our name out there is to piggyback off of Parks and Rec programming that currently exists. So often we go to events and our staff, our volunteers volunteer at those events with the hopes that we can get our name out there and sort of generate some organic donation. The hope, again, as we grow, is to have our own fundraising events, and sort of spin that off on our own. I mean, really, the grand, idea would really be to have us be our own 501c3 eventually.
Mhm.
So.
Great.
If I may, for those in the audience or online, the whole purpose of this is municipalities cannot solicit donations from individuals or private entities to help with programming. So when the Friends of Perinton Parks and Rec was formed, it was already under an existing registered 501c3 nonprofit. So you've got the accountability and financial oversight and purview in the filings for it and a board of directors to handle that for the transparency. And when we keep talking about scholarships, there are merit-based for some folks whose children might not be able to attend some of the programming due to hardship, to give a chance for everyone to partake in it. And that's the reason this is set up, just on the logistical back end of some of us out there. Why does this need to happen? What is this other entity and how's it working? And some of these acronyms, but that's what it really boils down to is this is a arm that can receive funds from whether it's individuals or corporations in the community who want to help community residents attend some of that program and is able to account for it and legally disperse that in a way that now it's eligible to be received through the municipality without any cost or transaction fees if it was to be done by a private brokerage or any other accounting firm or mechanism. So thank you, Nate.
Thanks for the clarification.
Nate, will you stay until the end of the meeting or should we get our picture with you now?
No, I'll stay to the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, no pressure, but
No, I'll be here.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Really put them on the spot.
Yeah. All right. So any further discussion? No? Okay. So I will ask for a motion that the town board accept a donation of $1,000 from the Fairport Foundation on behalf of the Friends of Perinton Recreation and Parks to be dedicated to recreation and park program scholarships and further authorize the acceptance of any additional scholarship funds received during 2026 for this purpose without further town board approval. And thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get a motion? Emily? And I get a second. Dave, all in favor? Aye. That carries. Next on the agenda is a request from the town assessor regarding commercial informal assessment reviews related to the 2026 townwide revaluation. As part of the revaluation process, the town retained KLW Municipal Incorporated to conduct valuation work for all commercial properties. That work was completed earlier this year, and the assessor is now requesting authorization to enter into a separate professional services agreement with KLW Municipal to conduct informal commercial assessment reviews. These informal reviews provide commercial property owners with the opportunity to meet with a knowledgeable representative, ask questions about the assessment process, and if applicable, submit documentation in support of a different valuation. Given the complexity of commercial property valuation, the assessor believes it is in the town's best interest to utilize KLW's expertise to conduct these meetings. The proposed reviews would be held at Town Hall beginning on or about March 27th, and compensation would be at the rate of $500 per person per day with the total cost not to exceed $3,000. Assessor Pickering, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, any questions or discussion from the board? No? If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion that the town board approve a professional services agreement with KLW Municipal Incorporated to conduct informal commercial assessment reviews in connection with the 2026 townwide reval at a rate of $500 per person per day with a total compensation not to exceed $3,000. Can I have a motion? Dave looks like he nodded. And Meredith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that carries. Next up, we have a resolution 26-08 in support of the town's submission of an application to the New York State Archives Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund, or as we're going to refer to it, the Records Management Grant. The Records Management Grant Program provides funding to help local government establish or enhance records management programs. Through this application, the town plans to seek funding under the inactive records category to complete a comprehensive town-wide inventory of records across municipal facilities and to update records retention and disposition policies in accordance with the New York State requirements. This work would improve our ability to identify, access, retain, and appropriately dispose of records and support both current operations and long-term records management needs. This resolution which has been provided to the board and posted on the town's website, expresses the town board's formal support for submission for the grant application. Clerk Gilchrist, do you have anything you want to add?
I actually finally did a full walkthrough of our 3 locations. We have about 7.2 million documents that will be included in this that we know of that are already well documented and are indexed in each department's own manner. This grant is designed to make it so we have a comprehensive indexing of all documents in every department, including filing cabinets. So it basically will make sure that we know exactly where they fall within the different schedules for retention requirements and destruction, so that then in the next phase of the process, we can apply for funding to help us digitize the permanent records while working on a comprehensive plan to end the input of more paper.
And each year we can reapply for this grant to get money to keep paying for the process because it's an expensive process to do this. And we have to, as Andrew has said, sort of stop the bleeding somewhere where we stop making paper stuff that we will then need to scan in, just modernizing our systems. All of that's going to correlate with our ability to get this grant funding so that we can get the process started.
It gives scope. It's about $1 million to digitize everything that we already have. That's as of last year's assessment. So there has been more added, just for
Wow.
understanding.
Yeah. So it's good to get started and start asking for money to do this. Is there any board questions about this or discussion?
Thank you, Andrew. I mean, that's great to look into this and try and get it going. So thank you for all that.
I have to give a shout out to Emily, our consultant for this grant, because she is very thorough and has been very helpful. So it's
Yes.
not just me. I'm being guided by someone much more
Right.
knowledgeable.
Emily Columbus from ESP Consulting is doing a great job getting us there. So we very much appreciate her efforts. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
Dave, any question? I do. Will there?
Just clarify it, I think.
Okay.
So I can explain.
Yep.
There's actually two resolutions. One is declaring me the records management officer, which for those of you that are aware,
Forgot that,
I
yeah.
already am the records management officer. This is more procedural so that it's very clear that I am, even though by this law, the clerk is. The other is the board showing their support for the application to this grant.
Okay, so oh, did you want to ask?
Yeah, for certain ones as we go forward, there still will be paper documents. I think it's pretty interesting to see if like deeds or marriage licenses, will there be still some paper copies archived?
So deeds are handled by the county. Those
Oh,
aren't
okay.
us at all.
Sorry.
A good example is actually building a code, which has gone fairly paperless actually with their process. And we're going to be using their office and my office as we work on the digital infrastructure to go paperless and look at those as use case examples as we work to expand that to other departments. So some of the bleeding has already stopped. We're looking to identify software solutions that can help us to reduce that, but also processes for when paper forms are received, immediately digitizing those and making the digital copy the permanent record. So we can then just maintain the paper for a limited time and then destroy it.
Per state law.
Yes, it will follow all of the archives schedules.
But I guess as it relates to the 7 million documents as it goes through, would there be any recourse for someone, for any of the publicly available documents to have an opportunity, say there's some old survey maps or building permits for their particular parcel that goes back, or any before that is destroyed, if someone wishes to come in, was able to foil or search to like frame them?
Any of those permanent records will not be destroyed until they have been human reviewed, and the digital copies are then declared the permanent record. So what I'm saying is anyone would then be able to request any of those documents, and we could provide digital copies. And the long-term goal is that we'll work to get printers and scanners that could then make it so we could reproduce those at a high quality level as if they were originals for whenever anyone requests that information.
Yeah, so is there a procedural law against someone actually, there's difference between a reproduction Mickey Mantle baseball card and an actual one.
For cards, yes, but for New York State purposes, once we do the certain saving in a PDF format, it actually becomes a stronger permanent record than the paper because it can't
I understand exactly what you're saying, but I'm
Like emotional purposes, or you
well,
think?
that's not rephrasing. There's something to be said about having the piece of paper that's say from
That was originally signed,
1924.
yeah.
Is there a chance before those are destroyed, if the ones that are public record, could they get like surplus documents?
I'll be working with a historian because some of those have historical significance. We're not going to destroy those.
No.
We can maintain some of those for permanent historical purposes. But for meeting our New York State Archives mandate, we're treating them differently. We're not going to put them through the process of an individual consultant that just handles the digitization. No, I'm saying for permanent retention purposes, those documents that have historical significance will be saved under the auspices of the historian. People could still access.
All right, let me rephrase.
Let me, I don't want to interrupt, but let me jump in. Would it satisfy what I think you may be asking if once we scan everything in, before there's any mass destruction of any papers, we could maybe put a call out to folks where if you would like the original of your such and such,
thank you.
Maybe, you could come in and grab it before we destroy it.
Just
That
because-
think like giving people a chance.
Because
Okay.
just because the historian or someone deems this not important, there may be an individual in our community who would like the chance to review that. It may be important to them. I would like to give a window.
Let me clarify. Marriage licenses are not held in, I'm going to use them as examples. They're not held in paper format. They're printed off by us because they're stored in a computer system.
Maybe it's an old
old marriage books that people have filled out by hand, those would not be destroyed. They would be digitized, but they would be kept for historical purposes.
Anything. Again, it would be like, once it's been digitized, just to give a window of opportunity for the public to say, hey, just like we're having the public review sessions, because you never know what someone's tie to one of those paths might be. And I get exactly what you're saying.
Right.
And I'm not talking about like the legality parameters of it. I just think it would be, when we talk about like preserving history, some of the ARIFRA like the materials or newspaper clippings, you never know, to someone else might not matter at all, but someone may see something in one of those documents and it was like a great grandfather or in a just a chance for if we could have a little window for the public to review, and if they can find something they want, that's good, as long as it's legal for
I
it.
think, I just want to say, I think you're conflating historical documents with permanent requirements for retention of documents.
I'm not. I am not.
Because the majority, about 90% of what we have, if you look at it from building a code perspective, right, these are permits that have been processed. They're not like historically significant. If we want to open that window, we have to make sure we check with the archives of what could be turned over to people. Right?
That's what I would like to say. If we could include that step,
We can.
because it still would be cool to say if I could find the actual permit from my house that someone applied for in 1947, where you still have that if you're building up a scrapbook for that sort of thing. That's what I'm getting to.
Right. And in that case, I don't believe New York State would allow us to turn those over for public ownership, from my understanding of it, because even as they are now, those can be viewed and they can be copied. But I think even after we digitize those, I don't know that they can just be.
And we get
We can
clarification.
verify for
Yes,
sure.
Thank you.
I do know that as I've spoken with our historian, all of the marriage books, those that date back far, those will not be destroyed.
yeah.
They won't be distributed. They will be digitized, but they'll be done through a specific service. So we make sure that we preserve the integrity of each.
And I think I was not going for the keynote crown jewels of these archives. I was just talking more about like the smaller things that might be just completely common. You know, like I always look at that. You just might be one girl in the world, but you're the only girl in the world to me type sentiment to one of those things.
Right.
And I just would like to make sure that
And this is going to be, we're talking about probably a 10-year process to
Yeah.
digitize all this. So we'll have plenty of time to look at what we should open up versus what.
and
should
that's
be
it. And as we
retained.
do it in batches, be like, obviously there's so clearly of this stuff. Once we get some legal counsel on what we can or can't do, be like, hey, here's group one. You've got 1 week to look at these boxes that it's been already cleared, been digitized. And if no one comes in or takes anything, we're destroying it. But I just think to mass for
Right.
just a very select number of people to determine these paper copies have got no value to anyone in
Yeah.
our community without an opportunity would be just wrong.
Right. And I do believe the consultant that we're hiring for the indexing purposes, they'll make note of every single
Oh, yeah. And again,
document in that regard.
again, I'm not worried about the marriage books or, like the ones that any clearly reasonable person will look at and say, we should save these. It just, you never know what minute thing might mean something to someone else.
Okay, so let me get my wording right. We have two separate motions. My first motion is going to be to declare our clerk as
The two resolutions.
two resolutions. I'm sorry. Yeah.
One just naming me as the records management officer.
Okay,
And
so
one pledging the board's support for that grant application.
record, what is it called again? Record
Records management
management.
officer.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution declaring Andrew as the records management officer, or the town clerk position, right? Is the
No, this
it would be for you specifically. Andrew Gilchrist is our records management officer. And the second resolution is for supporting the application. Thank you. Do you guys care if I lump those in one motion or unless you want them to be separate? Okay.
Both resolutions are in your pack.
Yeah, you have both of them. Okay, can I have a motion? Emily and Meredith second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Okay, that is our agenda for this evening. Moving on to our supervisor updates. Just letting folks know potholes, we know, they are bad. We see them too, and we will be getting to them quickly. I get just as mad when I'm driving down the street. But it is helpful if you call 1-800-pothole. That is helpful. So what that does is it tells the state, if it's on a state road, what it does is it tells the state that we want them to get to our potholes first, basically. So the more people who call that, the more it sort of signals to them that this is an issue that we want them to hit. There is also, which I don't have information on now, a way to get reimbursed by the state if you have damage to your car, if you're on a state road and there's a pothole. That's a thing. I'll try to do a post about it, but I don't have the information now, but I just learned that's a thing, which was great. Electric and utility pricing. I'm hearing from a lot of folks about their electric bills and their utility pricing and how wild it is. And we are all experiencing the same thing when we look at our bills. I am talking with state and county government officials to see, is there anything we can do? What can we do? Is there any movement of, I don't know, what can we do? I don't have an answer, but we are looking into it. A lot of it is it's out of our town control. We can't do anything about it, but just as a political body, can we have movement to speak for our residents and try to push something to get done? So I know there's folks that are very concerned about it. We are also, we share your concerns, and we're on it. US mail issues. There were a lot of folks who had issues with their mail service. I had them too, and we sent the quarterly out. Many folks said they didn't get it at all, or they got it really late after we were doing all of our meetings. Some people got 6 copies of it, and other people got just never got it. Yours came 5 days ago.
I got 3 copies.
Yeah, so I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on with the mail. I did speak to our postmaster, or the gentleman who runs our Fairport post office. They did have issues with some staffing issues, and weather kind of created a perfect storm of events previously that they have hopefully bounced back from. But I am curious if people have ongoing issues, if there's still problems, because we have been talking with Congressman Morelli's office about that. It's obviously a federal issue. It is not something that we can do anything about at this level, but we can let them know so that they can be pushing forward if there are many constituent complaints about their mail. Our post office is actually not the only one that's been having issues. I did speak to a representative from the congressman's office, and there are a few other local post offices that were having issues as well, long-term issues. So please just keep me posted, let me know, and reach out to Congressman Morelli if you do have concerns, but I'm happy to translate our concerns to him as well. Other than that, I don't have anything on my list as usual. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. But I will open it up. Oh, our next quarterly will be coming out in April with a lot of information in it. But I'd like to open it up to the rest of the board for any updates or comments. Dave, let's start with you this time.
Commissioner Kennedy, any idea on how the turf repair works for residents from the plows? Had a couple people ask me that, and just running it by you.
Yeah, so every spring, or once we think the worst of the weather's behind us, we'll go townwide and do restoration work. So we'll do some topsoil and reseeding, especially along those areas that are customarily hit, behind the curb lines and whatnot. So we take a lot of those calls, and we've taken a lot already to date. Of course, when we get the thaw, it sort of exposes other areas that maybe we weren't previously aware of, or residents weren't. So we'll get after it here in short order with the weather, and hopefully make everyone comfortable.
What comfortable?
Jason, what's the best process? An online submission or call? What do you guys? Because we've had people come to the clerk's office too asking that question, and I'm just like, well, go through their website and submit it.
Sure, they can actually call the DPW office, the 223-5115, or town hall can transfer them. They can go online through particularly the highway department, contact us and send us an email. And in fact, we've received notifications both ways.
Just, I wanted to give a shout out to Councilmember Meredith Stockman Broadbent. She did such a nice job including both Dave and I in her Cub Scout presentation. The Cub Scouts are working towards receiving their government badge, and I just really enjoyed working with you. It was great. Yeah,
We have a good time.
we sure did.
Birthday parties, we'll do them.
What was happening in the videos where there was the Girl Scouts and the Cub Scouts, right? And they're holding the code book. And there's a video of Councilman Masterson like counting down. Was it they were trying to hold it for so long in their hands, or that was really cute?
And this was an activity I believe that Meredith, you came up with, right? It was the code book feats of strength activity. And she does a really nice job talking about the town code and how many laws and codes there are sort of like overseeing our community. And the kids get they're really interested. And she pulls out a couple just kind of cute facts that she knows that the kids would be interested in. Like she starts by talking about how many dogs do you think you're actually able to have in the town of Perinton in one particular residence? And some kids go crazy and say 500. And we talk about chickens a little bit because that seems to be an interesting topic. They were fascinated to find out that we need a bingo inspector. So she does a nice job of kind of pulling out those key pieces, just getting kids interested in town government. We even had kids who were interested in possibly when they got a little bit older participating in our student representative program. So
That's a great way to put it.
and we are working on that. I've been in contact with our superintendent of schools, Brett Provenzano, and they are working on making that happen for us. So yeah. Yeah.
Councilman Flino?
I just want to give a shout out to the rec center. I feel like I've been here past 2 weeks more at night than I usually am. And there's just a lot of joy happening. I went in and I just looked at the Mighty Dunks real fast. I saw Mr. Masterson playing. And there's just a lot of joy in that room. Then you walk by, there's people learning how to like ballroom dance, and there's people doing martial arts. There's just a lot of really great things going on. So I feel like if anyone gets like the winter blues, just come and kind of walk around the rec
Great
center.
point.
And I feel like it'll just give you some faith in humanity. It's a lot of good stuff going on. So thank you for all you guys do to make that happen. And the snowplows, you really tell a difference when you go out of Perinton or come in. You guys do such a great job. So thank you so much.
So what I want to say, it's great news, Mr. Watkins and his accompanying neighbor. We've had our second CIP review plan. I will speak for myself only that when that opportunity comes before this board in near short order, I hope that I will be enthusiastically in support of that project. We've talked about reviewing some of the specifics, some of the behind the scenes information that I did not know previously. In the scope of it, well, it will encompass many of those streets. There is also a significant component of that project that will be for stormwater mitigation for almost roughly, if I think remember correctly, 700 parcels or so of the town. And for the stormwater runoff, for the sanitary sewers, road work and gutterways in a very heavily trafficked and older region of the town. And it's actually happening. And once I've got official okay that I can come and share some of those plans and it's actually happened and not nonsensory, that will be a door-to-door neighborhood community outreach meeting now that we've got springtime to celebrate that. But we had our second one in looking at the feasibility and the attainability of it and some of the scope that will be in addition to just that. I mean, advocating for you and all of your neighbors and the people who are listening, things are actually happening. I could not wait to share that. I was hoping that of all the meetings you've come to, that you were going to be in attendance for here and everyone that comes tonight. I really enjoy looking out and seeing everyone in the audience, especially come up public comment, any of the things, whether you agree or disagree or support, to know that people are taking the time out of their days to come while we're all here and we can hear and listen and interact. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
It's great. Thanks, Mike. I'll second that. When we're all talking to an empty room, it feels weird. So having people here, even if you're waiting to tell us something that we may or may not want to hear, it is still nice to have you. It really is. Okay. Did I get everybody? I got everyone. Okay. Now, speaking of public comment, I'd like to open it up for public comment. Chris, I'm wondering if we can change the camera angle so that we can.
I tried to somehow someone unlocked this camera angle like this.
Okay, that's what I
I've
figured.
been trying, so
The angle.
yeah, it's been like that. I'm gonna get with Matt tomorrow and
Okay, great.
I'll text him till after the meeting. And
All right, good. So
I-
if you're watching online, we don't mean to have this angle. We just can't change it.
Now, I actually prefer this angle if we could just include Councilman Masterson. I think
Okay, we need the podium
Yeah.
and we need Councilman
the
Masterson.
podium and,
He said he wasn't wearing a suit and he was just fine with that too.
yeah. So don't let it secret. But I'm just saying, I think for those that are watching, sometimes before I was sitting in this seat, it's town staff would be presenting. And if there was not a shared screen slide, the people at home are just watching us take notes. And I think there's something to be said to our town staff put such level of work and preparation into it to be able to their time literally on camera to present to their town residents as well. So I actually like this as long as we can just tilt that angle a little bit.
Right. I think that's some great feedback too, is that being able to get the podium in and get everybody in is huge. It's strange if someone's talking and you can't see them talking, but you're just staring at us listening.
So this other one got locked. There's supposed to be 4 locked in. I only got 2 locked in, and that's the other one right now. So
Okay.
Matt and I will get together and we'll figure out, the best.
Yeah, maybe we can adjust our little cameras or something. Yeah, maybe an owl or something. Okay, so we'll figure that out.
For the record, we don't do this to be on camera, so that's okay if it's.
Oh, we want you on camera. We need to cut our off a little bit.
Like the Masters where you can just follow your own focus group.
Okay, so if anybody, I don't have my blurb for public comments. I don't remember what I normally say. If anybody's here for public comment, we will now open it up. If you are online, please hit the raise your hand button and Chris will unmute you, but we'll start with the folks who are here. Please just say your name and your address. And Brian, come on up. It would be weird if you weren't here. I've never done a board meeting without you, so.
It was a long day. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I knew it was going to be a good news meeting. I could just feel it. So first of all, for those who don't know me on Garden or Briarwood, I'm Brian. I'm the one who knocked on your door perhaps or put a flyer in your mailbox. We as a community on Briarwood have been working at this for somewhere around 8 months or more. And the fine members of this board have been helping us put this called sewer improvement plan into our community. So thank you for that information. I really appreciate that. That is encouraging, and probably a bunch of other words that aren't coming to mind right now, but it feels good to hear those words from you guys and gals that the capital improvement project is moving forward. And also that you're hiring people you're staffing up for this project. So that's great. And
Right.
Jason's going to have a whole crew to get out there with shovels and pickaxes. That's great news, right? So I do have a few questions about that capital improvement project timeline. So last time I was here, Jason, you mentioned that there was going to be an engineer hired. Did that happen? Are we still waiting for that?
I don't know. Actually, do you mind if I defer to you, Jason? Or, oh yeah.
I will say as well, I do not want to overstep my bounds to share, or don't know what I can or can't share, whatever Commissioner Kennedy can. Please.
Thank you. We've actually reviewed the engineering that was done previously, years past, and determined that we think we have enough information to at least share with the supervisor and the board, kind of an overview of what the project would entail. The critical piece was updating the engineer's estimate at the time. So we've decided we can manage that internally. We're working on that now, and I intend to present that to the supervisor and through her to the board here in the next week or two. And then we can determine at that point really just how much more engineering do we need before we bring this to the public in the form of a informational workshop, and give the board an opportunity to decide whether they want to continue the process or not.
That's in the near future, we'll be able to make a decision.
Less than a month, less than 2 months?
6 weeks, 8 weeks, maybe? Would end of May be too aggressive of a timeline?
Serve at the pleasure of the supervisor and the board.
I'm sure we can figure it out by then. Yeah.
Does that mean a public hearing is happening somewhere in a 3-month time period?
If the board and supervisor wish it, it'll happen in a 3-month time period.
I wish it.
Okay, that's great. So just I wrote down some other notes in memory. The next step would be a public a board vote, then a funding start, and a project bid, and then a project start. I mean, that's essentially the timeline or the steps to get to project start, correct? Remember, I think I don't have my notes from when we spoke last, but that's when I remember.
Yeah, that would be the general timeline to get to a construction start.
And I think when we start moving with our formal timeline, once it's approved by this board, we'll share generalities, not because we don't want you to be part of it, because as you I'm sure know, with any construction schedule or any project, the dates move with weather and things. And so if it's like it's going to be on Thursday and it's on Friday, it's hard to kind of like update residents on that. We don't normally do that with like a capital project. So we'll be letting you know, kind of like chunks, if that's okay, right? Okay, good. Because we'll get timeline for you, but it won't be maybe as specific as you want, but we will get you timeline.
I'm not looking for specific dates. I'm looking for commitments. Like it's been committed.
Right.
And, I understand that circumstance happens. That doesn't really matter to me.
Okay, good.
It's on the books. The funding's there. The next milestone will be ready for approval. That's the kind of information I want feedback on.
Great.
I assume you got the petition I sent earlier in
We
the
did.
week, right? And so I want to let you know that I did a bunch of footwork, and that's why some of my neighbors are here from Garden. They got the petition, and we placed some flyers and on their doorsteps so they would attend here. And I also talked to many people on Garden and also on Woodcrest. So I spoke to multiple people, unfortunately couldn't make it, but they did express to me that yes, I am interested in this and I will do whatever I can to support.
Great.
So we are, if it helps this situation, we do have a second petition rolling through Garden, and I will expand that to Woodcrest and whatever the other street was. I forget it off the top of my head. But I did go down Woodcrest. There was some mixed messaging down that street about whether they had sewers or not. So we didn't knock on all the doors, only a few of them. Some people didn't answer. So, we are working that aspect as
For
well.
reasons I do not know, other than it just is, the south side, closer to Aralt of Woodcrest, where I grew up, did have sewer. For whatever reason, the north side of that little horseshoe does not. So that may be your result. So I don't know why, other than it just is. Predates all of our times on the board, but we're trying to rectify all of that.
And Brian, we appreciate you doing that work because it really does help to bolster. It's an expense, right? It's an expense for the town. And before agreeing to make that as expense, knowing that it's important to everyone who lives there really makes a difference for us. So we appreciate you guys who came out tonight, and the work that you're doing.
Yeah. And one last thing, I did go and inspect my home. There is pre-installed sewer line in there. All I have to do is go from the rear of the house down to a connecting pipe, and that
Awesome.
pipe goes out. And so there should be, exit pipe. So most of the homes, I believe, in that neighborhood have that already.
Great.
So I don't know why the builder put them in and then didn't, hook up the sewer. I don't know that, but they're clearly in a bunch of homes. I talked to Steve, he was here. He's the very boisterous gentleman.
I saw him at
And-
Wegmans the other day.
Yeah, right.
He said hello.
Thanks. Yeah. Anyways, I won't get into it. I think that's all I have to say, unless anybody else in Garden or Briarwood wants to say anything. I think I summed up most of the sentiments. Oh, you have? There you
Yeah.
go.
Here,
I'm gonna
let folks come up. Yeah.
I'm gonna step back. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brian.
Can I just say to all the neighbors that are here tonight, Brian has been an amazing, tireless, dedicated advocate for your neighborhood.
Right.
So I don't know if he likes Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, but he's
Right.
really done a great job, tireless for your neighborhood.
He's a really great definition of pleasantly persistent.
Yes.
Is very good. Do anyone else want to come up to the podium? You're welcome to speak. We'd love to hear from you.
Where this is really gonna go.
Oh.
They did this 17, 18 years ago.
Creed, I don't want to interrupt you. Creed, your
Down
name.
Garden Drive.
Would you mind giving us your name?
Pardon?
Would you mind giving us your name quick?
Robert Fromm.
Robert Fromm. Thank you.
Yeah, 12 Garden Drive.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was all proposed about 17, 18 years ago. They ran wheels down the street and marked out all the utilities and that, and never went anywhere.
Right.
Well, no one from that time is sitting up here. And there's a reason why, because it's not just your neighborhood that has had that same statement.
We live in the poor section of Garden because all the rest of the streets, and they all get their streets repaved and new storm drains and stuff, and we just get maybe the road surfaced.
That is part of this project. It will, this project, this part I will speak about, would include a complete rebuild of the street all the way down to the base layer with new to speak about that. And again, I can understand your frustration. That is part of the reason. Like I said, this composition of the board is different than even it was 12 months ago, and actually advocating and responding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to come up? Yes.
My name is Linda Homer, and I'm at 21 Garden Drive. I'm not very good at public speaking. I don't like this, so.
That's okay.
Doing great.
You're amongst friends.
A couple of things. I'm not for this.
Okay.
We maintain our system, we take care of it. We've been doing it for 35 plus years. Taxes go up. The connection, we don't have a sewer connection to our street. That's going to cost us money from what I understand, which can be a large sum of money to connect our home to this public sewer system, and it's our responsibility. We're retired.
So,
You know,
if I may,
yeah,
just because the sewer will come down that street,
Hmm.
you are under no obligation or mandate to have to connect to it.
until something happens to our septic system and we go for a permit.
That would be through state DEC, correct? Septic, is that permitted through state?
Through Monroe County Department of Health.
It would be, so it would not even be a town thing, but they still issue septic tank permits, correct?
The town doesn't have, Monroe County has say in that.
They issue the permits for septic
Okay.
systems, but I could certainly back check if whether they would mandate that you connect if municipal sewers are available at the time of your renewal. I believe that is correct.
It made me a little nervous
Mhm.
hearing all this is going to happen and that's going to happen and this is going to happen. And it's like, it's going to be about 20,000 out of my pocket. So that's a large chunk of money. And then the taxes go up. So are we having public meetings about this ahead of time? Do we have say, even though we don't have to connect to it? Am I understanding you correctly?
I will check with, if Town Attorney LaFay and Commissioner Kennedy could look into that.
We do have a public hearing.
Yep.
We have but
I
ahead of
just-
time, there is a public info or a public hearing that we'll have
Yeah, because the
before.
petition and stuff that came around our neighborhood, we got a flyer in the mail, but nobody
Yeah.
knocked on our door.
No, before anything
So-
happens, there's a process, and before, even if we as a board vote to expand the sewer district, before anything happens and work's approved, we have a public info session and a public hearing, so we can hear from people.
Okay.
This be a case where it's related to that?
I think if there's a public hearing, we would be notifying people.
So we would.
Absolutely.
Take your whole neighborhood, and in my office, we would put out the notice for that hearing, so you would get a card delivered to your house.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Remember, take
Just
time.
Totally different group.
Daniel Fisher, 333 Aralt.
Daniel, nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
mea culpa. I went on the website to see when you guys would be talking about 347, and I saw it was today, and I was like, oh, I'll come. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, 6 p.m.
You know, did I tell you, did I respond to you or not?
Nope.
Oops, that's probably my fault. That's why. 'Cause as you're talking, I remember you emailing me.
So I don't know if you just want me to follow up later with you
No,
or.
here, let's talk. It doesn't matter that it wasn't, we actually discussed it in our workshop previously. It doesn't matter. We would love to hear, we no decisions were made or anything.
Okay.
And so we would absolutely love to chat with you about it.
Yeah, basically, again, like when we spoke on the phone.
Yes.
I'm a firm believer in that that property is not mine, so I don't have a say in what
Mhm.
happens back there.
Well, and
As
to
long as it-
clarify, he lives in the house. Does everybody know where he lives?
I am the center of that U.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, the everything goes up around my house.
yes.
The piano studio, right?
Yes, but yeah. And yeah, it's just the question mark of like, how long is it going to take? And I know these questions aren't answerable at this point, but
No,
those
that's
are the
okay.
ones that I have. Like, how long is it going to take for the building and construction process if it does go forward? And what are the timelines for that? It's because my wife needs to know if she does need to like secure alternate
Oh, right.
place for her studio if there's a whole lot of noise. And then also similarly, just the whole septic versus sewer.
Yes.
Love to be on there.
Yeah, we've reached out to them, so we're in communication with them where after we spoke last,
Yes.
we discussed buffers. And so we put down that we would require some buffers from them. So we haven't heard back about exactly how they're going to handle that because they haven't been on our agenda since then. But that is something we're following up on. We're following up on them connecting you to the sewer. And then a few other things that we have internally as well. So, yeah, your concerns are our concerns, and we're making sure we address them before we approve the project.
The most important meeting that you and your wife could probably attend to will be upcoming they have got planning board. Is that the 18th, I believe, Mr. Mueller?
Yes, is the 18th.
Okay, because I know they were before Historic Architecture Commission last night. It
Okay.
did not start presenting until after 10:15 p.m. last night. I know they were there, but especially at planning will be,
Wait, they're not going back to planning, are they?
aren't they?
I don't think they're going back. I think they're just waiting for our decision. I think they already went to everybody.
I would defer to Lori with any official
Yeah.
comment, but I believe that there's HSC was giving a recommendation to the planning board
Yeah,
based on that.
that was my
That was
understanding.
this.
They never
That's
issued,
for Hartwell Heights.
planning board never issued final site plan approval, did they?
They're not, it's not final site
If I
plan.
may, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah.
So the action before the town board is a request for a decision on an SUP until that
Prior
decision is
to.
rendered.
They haven't.
No official action.
Hartwell Heights was the one for
Yeah.
planning board.
That was
I'm-
Hartwell Heights.
They should have grabbed another cup of coffee before this meeting. My apologies.
So they're waiting for our decision at this point for their special use permit, and we're waiting on those items. Once we are able to get those items from them and get our decision, it'll start, they're gonna want to move as, if it goes through, they'll want to move as quickly as they can, I'm sure. And there's a process, and I can lay that out for you so that you can have a timeline, because I'm sure that impacts your life pretty directly.
A little bit. All right. That's it.
Oh, yeah. And also, Daniel, you're welcome to, you just turn your mic on, you can talk.
So when a decision's going to be made, the clerk has to actually send out an official statement to the developer that they're going to be on the agenda. So if you just touch base with me, I will make a note of it and then just periodically touch base because it's kind of hectic to remember everyone I'm supposed to send everything to. But I would be more than happy to let you know when it's going to be on the agenda for sure, because I have to send that letter to the developer so that they're aware.
Thanks for coming. It's nice to meet you in person. Okay, anything else? Anyone here? Chris, anybody online?
No one's raised their hand, Ms. Supervisor.
Okay, we have one matter of urgency before we wrap up for tonight. This is a resolution authorizing the town to apply for community project funding for accessibility improvements at Potter Park at the Lions Den. This item was added late due to grant timing requirements, and action is needed tonight to meet submission deadlines. Because this is a matter of urgency, I'm actually just going to read the resolution quickly into the record. Whereas Potter Park, located in the Village of Fairport, is owned by the Village of Fairport and maintained by the Town of Perinton as a community park, providing recreation opportunities and public gathering space for residents of all ages and abilities. And whereas the Lions Den building within Potter Park served as a multi-purpose community facility that hosts summer camp programming, senior groups, teen activities, programs for individuals with disabilities, and a variety of community rentals and community events. and improvements to the Lions Den building are needed to enhance accessibility and bring the facility up to and beyond current ADA standards. And the proposed project includes interior improvements such as enlarged restrooms, updated doors, and enhanced entrances, along with exterior improvements to provide improved access to both levels of the building, improved access from the parking lot, and enhanced lighting and safety for usability. And additional accessibility enhancements are planned throughout Potter Park, including sidewalks connecting visitors to key park amenities such as the playground, tennis courts, basketball courts, soccer fields, and community gardens, as well as accessible shade structures and ADA accessible garden beds. And the town of Perinton desires to apply for community project funding to support these accessibility improvements and enhance inclusive access to recreation and community facilities. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Perinton hereby authorizes the submission of an application for community project funding for the accessibility improvements at Potter Park and the Lions Den building project. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute all applications, certifications, agreements, and documents necessary to apply for and administer the grant on behalf of the town of Perinton, subject to adoption to the town budget and applicable fiscal requirements. Is there any board discussion about this proposed resolution before we vote? None? Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution. Dave, move. Emily, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and that carries. There's no executive session tonight. If there's nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn? Emily, Meredith, second. And we are adjourning. Our next town boarding meeting will be on Wednesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. here at Town Board or from the comfort of your home online. Thank you all very much for coming.